Do 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 do. Hello. All right. Hello, everyone. Starting a little bit earlier today. All right, finishing him off. Magnus, he's almost done. I did a lot of work on him yesterday and earlier this morning. Earlier today. He's almost done. Just figuring out what colors I want. We're gonna work on his tabard right now. Finish that up in a bit. We're using as a final highlight some bold titanium white from Procro. Alrighty. Yeah. So just doing a few little highlights here just to make it pop a little bit more. We'll add a bit more darker shading into it. I'll probably do a thin glaze to help smooth it out. It's the white's blowing out my camera, so that's not a good thing. Hard to see it. So we'll just do it real quick. Get it done with. Move on to something else. Dang it. Keep catching his thigh here. To go back over with some red. Has a little pattern here on it that I'll be adding another color to. Turquoise maybe. The tabard here is just giving me a lot of problems. Not wanting to, the layers not wanting to come out smooth. What happens when you paint with white? little feather on his, excuse me, on his staff is almost coming off. Start to breaking off. We don't want that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a thin glaze of this mint green color. I'm just not liking that. I'm streaming. What's going on here? What's going on here? All right, there we go. What's going on here? What's going on here? All right. Not liking that. All right, let's try something else. I've been going back and forth on this tabard. I just can't seem to get it how I like it. We're going to rebase it and try a different thing here. This is P3's Sickly Skin. A greenish tint, off-white. So I'm going to try to do glaze in the shadows. That's nice and smooth. The P3 paints are liquid pigments, so they thin very well, and especially to glazing. Got that liquid, not a powdery pigment like normal paints. Get in here real tight. There's all these little details that I'm trying to get without hitting what I've already painted here. Hey, Core! How are you doing today? Finishing up Magnus. At least attempting to. Goof. I feel like a goof. I've been painting and repainting these cloths. This is like the third time, no, fourth or fifth time that I've tried to attempt to get these to look right. Same with the horns. I can't seem to get the horns to look right either, so. Yeah, it's like the last few bits. Everything else has turned out really good, but it's just like the last few bits that I can't get to look right. Like the tabard, this thing I'm gonna have to redo. His horns and bones. But I really like how the wings came out. The wings came out really good for me. The metals kind of took me a bit to get to where I'm happy with. So. Just wanting to get them finished. I'm at that point, it's like I'm so done with them. Yeah, I'm gonna redo this. How's your lava bloodthirster guy going that you were showing in the Discord? Core, how's he doing? Did you get it figured out how you wanted to do the OSL? You got the other 4 done. And Karanak. Sweet. Yeah, those are cool looking models. Oh no, that's all right. I'm gonna be a bit quiet, and the string, I don't have any music playing because I saw something about Twitch's new music policy, and it seems to be quite confusing. So just for the sake of simplicity, I'm just not going to run any music. From your recent guy that you put up there, I would say he's about, he's above tabletop. And basically tabletop, it varies. Tabletop can be as simple as a base coat with a wash over it. And they're painted, they're good to go. It's just, it varies. It depends on how you want to do it. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And how I was doing it, it was still okay from the artists, but reading some of the policy for Twitch, it seems no matter what, they kind of want to not have to deal with music or something. It's really confusing, and just for the sake of, for me, for not getting any of my videos pulled or myself being banned, I'm just not going to be playing any music. So don't worry, I'm not going to sing either. So all right, let me show you some simple little pieces here. About tier levels. So we'll zoom in. So this model, I would say, is roughly, I would consider it my tier 1, where it's got base coats, it's got a shade, and then it's like a highlight. I haven't done a whole lot of detail on it, no eyes or anything, no fancy stuff on it. Same with this guy. I consider these my tier 1, where it's a base coat, it's got highlights, it's above tabletop in that sense, as long as it's how much you want to put into it. These are quick, simple little things. I could go further into it and add more darker shadows, more highlights. This would be like the next step up, where he's that's a bad one because he's all yellow and it might camera's throwing that off. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna reach up. Yeah. So this Yeti, he'd be considered a tier 2. I have a little bit more highlights and details on him. He's got more of a more scenic type base with snow and grass and shrubs in there compared to just cobblestone. These two, you know, getting closer to a tier 3. It's still considered a tier 2. And what that is just, you know, you can figure out how far you want to go, how many layers and detail you want to do on it. Sorry about the arm in front. These would be considered more tier 3 because I've added more effects like the blood on his sword. He's got a little more detail on the skin and rust on the armor. And this one would be, you know, this would be a very high quality, brighter highlights, darker shadows, texture, very scenic base. So it's really how far you want to go with it. A lot of armies, I usually just do a base coat, a shade, and then maybe a highlight or two more on the face. The heroes and captains of those units, they would get more detail, especially on the face, so they stand out a little bit more. A banner bearer who has a big old flag, that would have some more detail on it. So it's really how long you want to take. So let's say like he had a big old banner, I would have like detail on the banner. Compared to him and this one, I would add more rust effects here, some chipping, more chipping and stuff on the armor. I would have more detail on the base. So it's really how far you want to take it and how you see it. That's how I consider the tiers and how I explain it. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, the cameras can really throw it off. Well, actually, the ones that you showed me, I would say they're about tier 2, tier 3. You know, it's really how far you want to take it. And these I would consider these well above tabletop, like 2 to 3. Because you have a more elaborate base with the lava. You have more than 3 colors. And you have some nice highlights. On them, they look great at arm's length and also very up close. You know, up close they look really good from what I can tell from the pictures. But yeah, your lava bases, those look awesome. And I really like the purple, like the pale purple for the spikes and their fins, that contrasts really well with the red skin, that dark red skin. So yeah, those look really cool, really nice. So good job, you're on your way. And any painted model is a bonus. Because I don't have. I'm trying to see if I have anything that's considered a tier 1 that I consider a tier 1. It's usually these, where it's a base coat, a shade, and then a highlight. And then if I wanted to take this to tier 2, I would add more highlights, darker shadows. You know, I put some more color in his skin. And you know, and if I wanted to take it to tier 3, I'd really darken the shadows, really brighten the highlights. I would add more detail, like maybe some tattoos, maybe give him like bloody maw, you know, mouth. He's like a vampire creature. Same with her. To bring her up to the next level, I would brighten up more of the highlights and brighter, darker to the shade, highlight the skin more. And definitely don't judge yourself to other models, judge it to other painters, judge it from your previous piece. And with each new project, always try to say, like, okay, how can I make this? How can I improve on what I'm doing? You know, what new thing do I want to do with this army or this next model? Because if you're trying to do high level, you'll never get you'll never get an army finished. And speed, you know, and tips and stuff comes with time, just talking to people, other painters and things like that. Well, it can get discouraging looking at other stuff. Even now, I look at some of these award winners and painters, and I just like, oh my gosh, those are awesome. I can't get to that. We're on all different parts of our hobby path here. We all started the same, so never show yourself, you know, judge yourself to a different piece, to someone else's. Always judge it from your previous piece. Don't stop learning, don't stop, you know, improving yourself. It takes practice and patience. You know, I would love to do more competition pieces. So that's one thing on mine. You know, really push pieces to a high standard, more than I'm, you know, out of my comfort zone. This one is definitely that. I also would love to learn to do the non-metallic metals to make them look nice, where I'm using regular paints to paint metal to look like metal. Also, you know, wanting to up my basing from, instead of just simple groundwork like that, adding, you know, a wide variety of different type of scenic bases and speed and paint, you know, painting things faster. The more you paint, the more, you know, you improve. Be a sponge. Yeah, it's all new. You know, if you've never done it. And when I first started 30 some years ago, I didn't have the internet. I didn't have Twitch or anything like this where I can go to a chat room and type in, excuse me, how do I do this? Or search on YouTube. I had to figure it out myself. All we had the old school painters is just pictures of the models in their monthly magazine, White Dwarf, starting Warhammer, and also in their rule books and stuff, and just pictures like that. And every once in a while, you may get a painting tutorial on how they painted it. Yep, we were the pioneers. So a lot of the stuff, I had to trial and error and learn on my own. There were paint guides, and usually it was like every other month or something there would be some little snippet of a paint guide, and they started adding more paint guides into their rule books and stuff. So it was really nice to see that, and it was a lot of trial and error. You kids now are spoiled. There's so many great things now. It's crazy. All right. Zoom out of here a bit. Yeah, I'll be 47 this year, so it's been a while. Yeah, there's painters now I see. He's like, how long have you been painting? Oh, for a couple years. I was like, that's crazy. The amount of detail you're able to get. And it's just what's available. There's so much stuff. She was 47? Yeah, now I'm mainly just trying to go faster and build and paint armies. And painting an army is much different than painting us. I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. Now I'm just learning to paint armies and paint faster. It's much different to paint an army than it is a single piece. Yeah, the batch painting. Because you're painting the same model over and over again. You're trying to do it in a timely manner, especially on commission stuff. And that's completely different, painting on commission to painting for yourself. Sometimes I get carried away and I want to add more detail, and it's like, wait, no, they only pay me for a certain point. Oh yeah, I've been full-time commission painter about 4 years now. This is my job. How much would I charge you to paint it? I don't know. You'd have to figure out how much. Usually, how I figure out pricing is how long I figure out how long it would take me to do and charge an hourly rate. Depending on the amount of detail on the model, the color scheme, basing, and all that stuff. I think for that Dread Saurian, I think it was around 300. Because he wants it really high quality, because it's a centerpiece. What was I doing? Oh, the loincloth. All right. All right. It's almost payday. Yeah, it's almost payday for me. This is a commission. It's the part of it was 4 models that I was commissioned to paint. I'm finishing him up and then going to meet the client tomorrow. And he's got a big army for me to. That's nets. So this is another part of that commission. The Chaos Wizard on a flying disc. No, it's not the same guy. It's a different character, and he just has a variety of special characters that he wanted me to paint up for him. The next commission that I'm getting from him is a big Space Wolf Space Marine army. It's they're like a bluish gray color scheme. Bunch of troops, a big flying carrier, and some other stuff. So that'll be fun. You'll probably be seeing that on the stream. All right. So these are all P3 Privateer Press paints. I transferred them all to dropper bottles. They came in the flip top ones. Now I'm going to shade, glaze shade type thing. Excuse me. For the cloth. So we're going to start with this Troll Blood highlight, which is a light gray tone. Then this Crit's Bane highlight, which is kind of a greenish gray, and then the Bastion gray, which is much darker. So I'm going from light to dark as I glaze it in there. Oh yeah, with the Dread Saurian 2000. Yeah, that Dread Saurian is a part of another commission, and I think it's a 2,000 point army that I'm doing for him, and it's an add-on to an additional army, so he'll have well over 3,000 points. So with this, I'm going to thin my paint to glazes and paint them in the recesses of the cloth. So I'm going to use Vallejo's Glaze Medium to mix into it. So I put that on my palette here. Yeah, I'm just waiting for you. I told him when you'd be able to do it, and so he's cool with that. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy, so. Yeah, time to load up the palette. So you can see the transitions of the colors here. So it's a lighter gray, warm gray tone, and then like a greenish gray, and then just a normal medium gray tone. And I'll be painting those in the recesses. This is a great way to paint white. Is start with an off-white color, and then shade in your color, and then shade in darker, progressively darker colors, and then do white as your main highlights on the edges. It's taken practice. I have a basic understanding of it, like I was showing the other day. No, this will be for the tunic. This little loincloth thing. I'll be doing the same type of on the orb, but I'm going to do it like in cool blues, like blue grays and stuff. Yeah, I tried to do this in a different color scheme, but it just didn't work. All right, so taking a little bit of that warm gray, and I'm going to add a roughly 2-to-1 chaos glaze medium to the paint. and I want it pretty thin. Because I'm just tinting the recesses. Hopefully this will show up on the camera pretty good. Because the cloth has a lot of folds in it. So I'm just pulling the paint up. Not going to be able to see this. It's really blowing out that color. Yeah, I need to add some more shading and highlighting on them. So, because like his nipple horns, he's got carvings in it, so I really want to make those shine. So I'm just starting roughly where it's at the front and just pulling the paint towards the deep shadows here. And actually adding this tone in here, it won't be so bright. Thank you. Yeah, he's a great model. And working on getting him finished. It's funny because on the website for this model, he's standing on a piece of like a Space Marine dreadnought, which is a big old robot type thing, and it's supposed to be painted like the Space Wolves. He wanted me to paint it like the Space Wolves, which is the next army that he's doing. So you'll see that if I get to it today, see me painting that scheme on that. And it's these tones. It's like blue-gray. That's going to be a fun army to do, and I'll be using the airbrush on that just to get down my colors real fast. Ouch. I don't think about it. I spent way too much. I'm a paint hoarder. I have, I think, more paint than I do have models, but it's very... Yeah, the brightness on this is really throwing this off. And you don't need to have every paint. You really don't need to have all the paint. I just like to have them just in case, but I'm starting to go through and get rid of paints that I'm not using. This part's kind of hard to get in there. I have to fiddle with my camera and try to get the color balancing right. Yeah, I gotta look into how to do giveaways. The legalities of it's mainly what I need to look into. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to do that, like paint some models on stream and then give them away, but I need to look into the legalities of it for my state. Yeah. Yeah, Twitch is getting really, they seem to be getting really tight on rules and such, what you can and can't do lately, from what I notice. A lot of it that people do giveaways, it's mainly just to get people to get followers and subscribers. It's like, if you want this, you want to be entered into this, you need to be a follower and a subscriber, and that's you're paying for being and entering in, and that's in some states considered gambling. So you got to look into how that is. Oh yeah. Yeah, the whole thing with the music, I saw that it's something new and someone posted it up, and I don't know if it's someone just posting this to say, to freak people out or what, but for the sake of me not worrying about getting booted or anything, I'm just not gonna have music playing, which kind of sucks because I liked having it on there. I don't have to sit and talk. It's going to be interesting because the majority of Twitch players, they play games that have music in it. So, I don't know. Alright, so now with that, kind of hard to see it. It's making it look a bit kind of like a dirty white, which is fine because I don't think he stays clean. Yeah, from reading this, it seemed to be the algorithm. I know I pronounced that wrong. If they just find music that's copyrighted, even if you supposedly own it and have permission to play it, they'll boot you. All right, so I'm taking some of this Crit Spain highlight, which is a green gray. I still had some of the Troll Blood highlight in there, so it's kind of a mix together. But just adding some glaze medium to it. I don't know. I don't know the reasoning why they're wanting to do that. Maybe they're tired of getting complaints. Who knows? I know YouTube has a lot of strict rules too, so So I'm just doing the same thing, just placing this deeper down into the recesses, kind of just darkening it a little bit more. It's really hard to see it because it's so bright. Well, the problem is, I think it's going to have so many regulations that people aren't going to use it anymore and either go somewhere else or just stop doing it. And they're going to lose what they've built. So it's one of those wait and see things. It's nice to have it because you can be sitting here and, you know, just chatting with people. Oh, I'm sure there are. Twitch is just well known because it's popular, but yeah, there's, you know, things happen, especially with the whole pandemic. Everyone started doing, you know, they're able to do these online chats and live streams and such. Kind of was the reason why I got back into it. Like, while I'm sitting here painting, might as well, you know, turn on the camera and chat with people. I'm not making money from doing this. At least not yet. I don't have enough followers, I guess. The 3D stuff, yeah. No, that's back in my day. You're not that old. And it was a long string. Growing up, the house I grew up in was in the middle of a cul-de-sac, so it was like the center one. So like right, and then right across the street was my best friend. So it was a bit of a long string. All right. Also, like right. Sorry, I'm off the camera there, but getting in real close, right above the, right back here is some scrolls that he has. It had its moments. It had its moments. Not the best in clothing, I would say. Yeah, I was in high school in the like late '80s, early '90s. Then I was an adult in the '90s. So. She never got to see the 80s. She's not missing much. Overall, the 80s were really cool because of all the games and stuff and all that. Oh. Yeah, it does. It definitely goes real fast. All right. It's kind of hard to see it on the camera because it's really, the white balance is really off on here, and I don't want to mess with my camera. Sorry. All right, so just doing the same thing. This one I'm actually gonna clean. Yeah, it looks really cool. I really like the purple to the red on the artwork. I mean, not the artwork, the photograph from the website. He told me to go by that, and I just kind of took that as a guide and went further with it. I really wanted to make his appendage, like the ends of his, that purple, and it just makes it so much better. And then adding the turquoise here on the runes looks really cool, and then we have it up into the blues and stuff onto the wings. Yeah, it looks really cool. Well, on the website, it's not this purple. It's not that dark purple. It's goes up into magenta, but because of his red skin is so dark, I really like. I mean, it was just kind of like a happy accident. I just kept going with the airbrush yesterday. And you can kind of see that it's dirtying up the white, which is fine. Thank you. Yeah, I like that skin tone. Excuse me. And I like the process of how I was able to do that. And I'm tempted. I really want to go back and redo the squigs that I was working on Monday and do this same thing, because I was working on them, on those more, and I just don't like the look of them. So I'm going to redo them, and I'm thinking of doing it where like the ends of their feet are this purple. It's this dark red going into the purple. I think that'll look really cool. And with the goblins, instead of having that black cloth, having like this dirty white. So now I'm taking this Bastion Gray, which is a very dark gray tone, and thinned it with the glaze medium, and just painting in back in the deep recesses, like back here. I'm just pulling it up. Yeah, and with that, I could still have those mushrooms on there, this turquoise color. So, I mean, looking at this, it's like, yeah, that'll work. So it's the same type of paint scheme on different models. Definitely liking it. Yeah, it's looking much better. Not looking really good on the camera, but in person it looks really good. Got that kind of a dirty feel to it. Dirty white cloth. Sorry, I'm off the camera. I know I am. I just gotta look. I gotta tilt it just right so I can see it. Get up on those cracks and crevices. Yeah, that turned out really cool. And all I did was just dry brushed over the base coat what I had. I just lighter purples and then a dark turquoise and the lighter turquoise over that. And I just dry brushed over it. And I didn't use a typical dry brush. Best thing, get some cheap makeup brushes, and these make great dry brushing, like the soft bristle ones that you can get for like $1 or $2 at like the dollar store. Just get a wide variety of them. Yep, I have a big one like this one. I use this as my duster. So if I model sitting on a shelf, you know, a few days, I'll come in before I start painting and I'll just give it a quick dusting. You want to wipe off all that dust before you start painting, because if you put paint onto the layer of dust, that layer of dust isn't sticking, you know, it can easily come off and you can get chipping, you know, paint chipping off your model, rubbing off. So yeah, even if you've completed your models and you have them sitting on a shelf or in a case, just getting a big makeup brush and just dusting them off every month or so, every other month. But yeah, using these for dry brushing, I find is much better because I used stiff bristle brushes that are labeled dry brushing, and I always got a frosty look. I never really liked it, but then I tried these and I'm able to get nice looking organic, you know, especially over organic areas like muscles, like the highlights on the hand here. I did that with the dry brush, just a little light dry brushing over it. Yeah, I bought like a 10-pack for like $4 or $5 off of Amazon, and I got a wide variety of them. But yeah, you can just go up to the dollar store or like a Walmart or Target. I'm not sure if you have those up in Canada or not, but you know, they're dollars. They're perfect for like rounded surfaces, like on Space Marines, even on the Saffron. They're really good for that organic feel. When you do wipe them off, I found that you really got to make sure you're, you know, don't just wipe it off like this. Wipe it off like on the side, so you're like pulling the paint to the tip, but you need to really wipe it off to make sure there's hardly any paint on it, and then test it on your thumb or even on the side of the base. That works too, to see how much you have. And you don't need to get, you know, spend a whole lot of money on your brushes and stuff. You can get, I buy cheap cheap craft brushes, you know, big packet for like $5 or something. And I use this for the majority of my work, you know, applying base coats, washes, dry brushing, things like that. And then I'd go to my, you know, fine detail brushes for highlights. All right. Because of the gray, that made it look like a dirty cloth, which is exactly the what I was looking for. I'm gonna use the same color on the bones here. No, not gonna work. Never mind. I won't do that. There you go. I got white on there already. All right, so I'm gonna start highlighting up the cloth here with the sickly skin. It's just an off-white gray tone. Like a very pale green gray. And this I'm going to add some glaze medium. Just for some nice smooth. Oh. I'll wait a bit. It's still kind of wet. Let's go back to the horns. I'm going to do the same thing on the horns, just do a glaze over it. And we're going to use this gun core brown from P3. It's just a mid brown tone. While you're painting, you can start to see, as you know, while you're painting, when it starts to lose water, I just add more water to it. You can get like a dropper bottle, a little dropper, you know, for like medicine. You can get that and just add water to it, or you can get. Oops. I got a bottle like this off of Amazon. I like it. I like the curve of it because I don't have to tip it way over, and it's just a squeeze bottle. I think these were used for. I see them with sport, you know, like football players having these type of, you know, they just squeeze it into their mouth. I got like a pack. It was like a 2-pack of these, one big and one smaller. And I just fill it with water. It's got paint on it just because I use it to clean out my airbrush. So I got 2 big ones. I keep them on my desk. But yeah, if you are painting for a long period of time in a session, and you start to see the water, you know, the paper dry up and kind of start to fold over, just add more water to it. And then for highlights on my bone, this is Menoth White Highlight. It's an ivory color. God, I gotta work on my white balance. I'm using a lot of whites in this one, and it's just blowing out the camera. Camera is not liking it. Yep. Taking that guncore, just the brown here, adding some had to redeem those. You have a fancy tats. Just checking it on my finger. I always check the consistency on my thumb here, just to see how the paint is. If it's, you know, it doesn't have a whole lot of water in it. And it does. It's too thin, too thick. I can barely see it on my thumb there. Sometimes you might highlight an area too much, and it's just too bright, too stark. Doing a thin layer glaze over it helps smooth it out. So the same thing I did with those transparents in the airbrush yesterday on the skin, on that red. That's what I'm doing here, just brush on glazing. He's a big guy, so it's kind of hard to keep them all in the camera. And this will also run into these etchings and stuff in the bone, the carvings. Excuse me. Which is what I want. I want those areas to be darkened. Adding some paint here on the little scrolls here. Help darkening. It looks kind of messy, but once I start adding the highlights to it, it'll look better on the cloth there. Also adding different colors in the shading gives you some great results. It looked like a galaxy. Yeah, he had some funky little stuff attached to the wings there, so I added some ivory to the turquoise and just made it a little bit brighter on those so they stick out. They're not on the back though, they're just on the inside. So yeah, it's kind of funky. Alright. So I'll let those glazes dry. So when you're painting with glazes, it's the same as with washes, you want to make sure that they thoroughly dry, because if you come back to them and they're not not completely dry, you will actually take the chance of pulling up the paint while you're painting, and you'll get those nasty little coffee stain rings. Alright. While we're waiting for that, we're going to go ahead and paint some of the leather. And I'm going to use the same Guncore brown in it, but I'm going to use that as a highlight color. And we're going to go with Battlefield Brown, which is a nice dark brown. Another Pokemon. Is that War Turtle? Is that the evolution of Squirtle? Take some Battlefield Brown and add some Guncore Brown. Do a mid-tone. This will be my base coat for all the leather. So he just has a little bit, like this belt, the book, the spell book, that will be this color as well. Paint over that centerpiece. War Turtle! So I'm just manipulate the model around so I can reach areas. Make sure I get the paint where I want it. Alright. Actually, I'm going to use this to base coat the scrolls. A great way to help speed up your painting project is to have a very limited palette, meaning just having a rough, depending on what it is, maybe like a handful of colors and mixing them. Because you don't need to have a large amount of paint colors. You can just you can get a lot, get by with maybe not even a dozen, like 10 or about 10 paints, at least 10 paints, and learn and knit some. I have way too many paints, and I normally only use about close to 30. Yeah, an airbrush is really nice. It's one of those things that's nice to have to up your game, your painting game. Yeah, tattoo artists can make much money. She's talked about doing being a game designer. She loves to draw too. So and my son, I think he goes back and forth. You know, they both enjoy playing video games. I mean, we all do. No, he really doesn't play any of the tabletop games. He used to when he was younger. Right now with them, that's mainly video games. So. I mean, nowadays you can make money off playing video games. So. Yeah, they play video games and watch YouTube videos of people playing video games. So we'll see what happens. My wife and I are both very artistic as well, so we're very supportive of what they want to do and what they're doing. Yeah, it's either they're can be very supportive of what you want to do, or they, have ideas of what you should do. Yeah, it just varies. My mom wasn't. She's kind of surprised that I'm actually able to support. I'm able to support my family doing what what was considerably a hobby, and now that it's a job. My mom and but they see it. They're just kind of shocked. It's like, wow, you're actually able to do that, and a lot of people are shocked by that because normally it's hard to make a living by doing art, and but once they have seen me do that, they're very supportive. So Jim Carrey's dad said it perfect. Nothing is guaranteed in life. You can go for something you think is safe, and it ends up a total mess. So do what you want. Yep. Yeah, and since I've been able to make my hobby a career and get paid for it decently, it's really nice. And having doing Twitch and everything does help. Gets people. It's like, oh, that's what he does. So it's definitely very cool. I think that was all the leather parts. The staff, we're just trying to paint it like leather straps on here. Alright, so now I'm going to take this battlefield brown, this dark brown. Add some glaze medium and some water. Kind of do a bit of a wash over all those areas. Concentrate it more on the underside so it settles there. Excuse me. Just rotating this around a bit so I can get in here. Alright. That works for me. Ninja! Aren't they looking great? I gotta highlight them up a bit more. Yeah. Add some more glaze medium in that. Yeah, because on the picture on the website and the bots, these are like bright white. And I was like, no, I don't want that. I want them kind of more of a yellowish boned color. It'll contrast well with the purples and the reds. I'm doing good today, Ninja. How are you? He's almost finished, and he's been coming along really well. So I'm just wanting to get this guy finished. I'm at the point it's like I'm done playing around with him. I'm done painting it. I want to move on to something else. So I'm at that stage. But there's zoom out. But yeah, I got a lot of work done. The majority of it was done with the airbrush on Wednesday. And then I worked on the metal sometime yesterday, for a little bit of yesterday. And then today I've just been really cranking it out. And I'm at the point now, it's like, okay, we're near the finish line. Let's finish this up. Sounds good. It's Friday. The weekend is here, or it will be soon. I mean, I work from home, so I don't have to deal with having to go someplace, which is also nice. But I'm going out tomorrow to go meet with a client to return these and get some other stuff and get paid. Yay! Tomorrow's payday. Yeah, that can suck. Excuse me. The days just flow to each other. I realized I woke up today. I'm like, oh my gosh, today's Friday. I mean, the kids are out of school now, so it's summer. It's kind of like an extended summer with the pandemic. I do stuff. Don't be starting that. This is what I get paid for. I paint these guys. That's what I get paid for. All right. I'm going to go back to our sickly skin color and start applying some highlights here on the cloth. There's a little bit of glaze medium in there just to help smooth out the highlights. It's very thin. I think I put too much glaze medium. That's the problem with glaze medium. You got to be very careful with it. Well, there you go. That works. Well, stuff is starting to reopen. The game stores in the area reopened a couple weeks ago, but they're now getting to the point where you can go back and play for a small amount of time, you know, for like a couple hours or something, which is really nice because I know a lot of people, they've been wanting to get back to the game stores and play. Sorry, my camera's completely throwing off the white balancings. I need to mess with it later. I'm trying to do this cloth really quick. I can move on to some other stuff here. Adding those glazes made it look really dirty, so I'm just trying to touching it up. But I have some nice smooth paint on the folds here. Be a little bit quiet there. Well, welfare and unemployment's two different things that we have here, Core. Down to 10 to 30, 10 to 20 new cases. Oh, that's nice. It's getting there. It's getting back. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hearing rumors about a second wave. I think they opened up too quickly in a lot of cases, especially a lot of states that had very high problems. Yeah. Yeah, the protests didn't help. That's for sure. And we're going to start seeing issues about, an uprising from that if not already. And just so you know, I was nowhere near where the protests were happening. Those were downtown. I'm a little bit further north. I'm about 40 miles north of the cities where all the protests and all the stuff happened. So thankfully it didn't get up this far, but overall it's still crazy. There's still stuff going on in other states. It's just crazy. Yeah. It's not good. So. Have there been protests up in Canada? I don't recall. I know over in Europe there have been. They were protesting and were still 6 feet apart. That's nice. Yeah. Oh, you had some up in Calgary? Okay. Yeah, I heard over in New Zealand there are no cases anymore of COVID. The last person who had it, wasn't showing any major signs of it 2 weeks ago or something. Yeah. Yeah, New Zealand had everything figured out. Unfortunately, down here in the States, our government doesn't know anything. Anyways. But I am definitely glad to hear that you folks are doing okay. So. Just gotta take care of each other and stay safe. So I'm just building up this the whites again on this. There's also a pattern on the tabard, his loincloth. It's his loincloth. I'll be painting probably this turquoise or something. Yeah. Yeah, it's us having something like that. Yeah, I'm also at a higher risk because I have asthma. Oh no, I didn't take it rude, Gord. Don't worry about it. It's all good. I know you're just joking. Don't worry. It's all good. Thank you for clarifying. It's all good. Definitely need to touch this up some more. It looks okay, but I need to stop being such a perfectionist on this and just get it done type of thing. I think I'm going to stop working on that and then work on something else real quick. And we'll work on the hair. Actually, we'll do finish the leather. Sometimes if an area is getting too problematic, before you throw it across the room and frustration, just stop and do something else. So that's what I'm getting to the point with this. The cloth here, it's looking okay, but I'll mess with it later. So we're going to work on something else and finish up another area. So we're going to go back to the leather here, to our base coat of gun core brown and battlefield brown. The two browns, the dark brown and then the mid-tone brown that I have here. We're going to use this also to re-highlight, start layering up the scrolls here. Those will be a little bit darker, more parchment type. But I'm start building up my highlights, working towards pulling the paint towards the edge, leaving that previous layer, that dark shadow area. So here on the handle, I'm just using the side of my brush to hit those ridges. And I'm keeping it, I'm pulling the brush to the top of the area, if I keep it in focus on camera here, because that's where I want the bright highlights to be. So I'm just going down the area really quick, so it's not too hard. Or switch, just to have pure gun core. Come in here and just building up those highlights. Really quick, real simple. I'm not doing smooth lines here on the book. I'm just doing kind of like quick little brush strokes, little hash marks, dashes to give the book some texture, to make it look like it's worn leather. I'm going to do the base. The base is going to be gray, like stone, and then this is going to be like a bluish gray here because he's standing on a dreadnought arm from Space Marines. It's going to match these other ones, like neutral gray. So here on the belt, just doing little dashes and hash marks, little marks to make it look like it's worn leather. Real quick and easy. Same here on the weapon. So doing that same thing, just the side of my brush, but more on the upper portion. Yeah, he wants all the bases to be kind of an urban rubble. So I painted in, neutral grays, dark gray to a dry brush up to a light gray, almost off-white, and then I'll randomly splot over different shade colors, like some camo shade, some dark brown, and then the sepia is that mid-brown, like a yellowish tone. That gives me a nice variety, just adds some color to the base. All right. So now we're going to add this ivory color here to the mid-brown. My washing regimen? Yeah. Yeah, I'll show you that. No worries. Yeah, a lot of the videos on my YouTube channel, I have a whole getting started, and it shows the basics of how to do base coats, how to do washing, how to do dry brushing, how to do layering. And on cue, there's the YouTube. Yeah, they have a thing they just started for Twitch that I need to do, like an intro video. So I'll try to do that this weekend. Just do a quick little video explaining what my channel's all about. Yeah, it's I think they started it because it was they launched the new site or the updates. I think it was Tuesday or when. Yeah, Tuesday. All right, so I'm just building up the leather texture here on the book. And if I make it too bright, I'll just do a thin layer wash over it too. So. Yeah, it's like a greeting. So if people find the page and there's when I'm not streaming, it's a greeting type of thing. So it's really cool how they do that. How it is. I just need to do a quick little video for it. All right, so just adding more of that ivory color and a white highlight. And just painting these scrolls that make them look like parchment. A lot of it's is a bit. I'm painting a bit too bright because I'm going to go back over with a glaze and different colors just to brighten it up. Just doing the same here on that book. He's got some metal, you know, on the binding and such, which I'll go back and redo. So many areas it's hard to reach. All right. Get to a point where I need to stop for the night. We're getting to our 2 hour. I tend to do the streams about 2.5 hours to 3 hours, depending on things. All right, so we're going to use this bright highlight here for the bone. Kind of add some highlights here. The bone saturations. I think that's what it's called. The lines on the bones. There we go. That's looking better. I'm happy with that. I really like the eye on his hand here. That looks really cool. Kind of creepy, but it's just cool. All right. And just a few little lines here on the horns. All right. We'll paint his hair real quick. I'll wait to do this later. So we'll paint the hair real quick. I was going to do it a dark purple. Yeah. So I'll start with this black, and then highlight it up with the dark purple, and then this is plum. She draws and paints. She does a lot of digital art. She has hobbied with me a few times, so. Yeah, she does a lot of digital art. She did some she does she whenever it varies. She has a lot of hobbies like I do. Canvas painting, drawing. Yeah, so many hobbies. There she is. She doesn't want to. Yeah, she's come in and I watched, there's a couple slow fuse monument hobbies. Him and his wife, usually his wife is sometimes on there, but it's mainly him. Jimmy the Brush, his wife and him stream all the time. My wife won't. She doesn't want to. Which is fine. She's got her thing and I got mine, so it's all good. Jimmy the Brush. Exploded. I think we rated them last week. But yeah, they're really nice. They're based in Europe. I think they're in the UK. They're fun to watch. definite, very supportive of the community. So actually, all the people that the hobby community, the painting community here on Twitch is just outstanding. It's just great. Oh, the royalty family. Yeah. Yeah, on the new update they had for Twitch, they have where you can put in, you know, other channels that you recommend. They asked me, you know, what other channels do I recommend, and they're on there. I think I have like 5 or 6 of them down below. So when you come to my Twitch page, you'll see that as you scroll down. In fact, if they're streaming tonight, we'll probably just go raid them. They're good friends with Glorious Badger. I think you followed him last time when we raided him last. I'm not raiding yet. I'm not ready yet. I still want to do some painting. I want to work on this hair now. I moved on being frustrated with the other areas. I'm ready to paint the hair. But I think after I do the hair, that's when we'll end. Because then I'm almost done with the model itself. I just need to touch up the cloth. Yeah, you need to wait. Calm down. Relax. It's all good. We'll get there. Patience. Yeah, I'm almost done. I just need to paint the hair, touch up the cloth, do some touch-ups with some metal. Do this thing and then the base. So this is just a black color here that I'm painting the hair, base coating the hair. Making sure I get it all over and cover that primer. In fact, I'm going to need to get some more paint on my palette. He's got a big flume of hair there. There we go. Sorry if I'm off camera, I have to manipulate it enough to get all the areas. It's just hard to see. Get right up in there. All right, so we'll let that dry. And while that dries, I'm going to what the color I want. Take a swim in the wings. That's just silly. All right, this is just bright ivory. Very bright off-white. And then I'm just going to put some white, bold titanium white on my palette here. I use these colors to do some work here on the cloth while I'm waiting for the hair to dry. So while you're waiting for, base coats and stuff, you can, instead of sitting there twiddling your thumbs while you're waiting, work on another area or another model. I usually have a couple that I'm working on at a time. This is such a big model, I'm just concentrating on this one. So while I'm waiting for one area, I'll do another area, like a base coat on another area, or a wash, or shade, or whatever. So I'm constantly working around the model at once. That way, I'm not just sitting and waiting for one area, and I can build up the highlights pretty much all at once. I tend not to complete one area and then move on to another area. I'll kind of start base coating all over and get them to a point, and then kind of go back and forth as I'm finishing up areas to I might need to highlight another area to match the portion I just did. Whittling? That is a crafty way to pass the time. I never whittled before. I kind of sort of did, just shaving things off, but never fully whittled. Sounds weird. Fully whittled. But it definitely would be fun. I used to do, and I kind of want to do it again, sculpting in clay. I enjoy doing that. Be a whittler. You can be a whittler, dude. Go right ahead. Nah. Make something Cthulhu? Sure. That's if I get around to it. There's so many other things I want to do, but finding the time to do them could be a pain. the smallest area, and it's been such a pain in the butt. There's a huge, I've seen this like really big Cthulhu type model. It's like a bigature. It's I'm not sure how tall it is. I know it's at least 12 inches tall. It's huge. I've seen it at the game store. I'm like, whoa. But no, I can't buy any more stuff. But it's definitely really cool. I have some Cthulhu type things. Reaper Miniatures had a bunch of little chibi monsters. You know, like the classic monsters like Dracula and Frankenstein, and they had a Cthulhu type one. I think I picked that one up. Yeah. I gotta find where I put them. I have a bunch of Reaper Miniatures that I picked up, and you can still get it. Go to reaperminiatures.com. I think if you just go there and you just type in Cthulhu, you should be able to find it. reapermini.com. Or if you just do a search for Cthulhu miniatures, you should be able to find a bunch of stuff. Alright, so this black is pretty much dry. So we're going to go to the dark purple and just start painting on the thin lines. It's still kind of wet near the base down here, but it's okay. I'm not too worried about that. So just using the off the camera here, just using the side of the brush, just dragging it across the hair strands. Oh, his wife's gonna get mad at me because I told him about that. So I'm not painting the whole strand with this purple. I'm keeping the black, obviously, where, you know, how it's shaped. It's not one whole piece. There's this piece, and then there's a shadow that's going to stay black. I'm going to have you know, just hitting the raised areas just like a normal bit that you highlight. So like right in here, I'm not underneath, I'm not painting that part. Oh, did you find it? Is that the chibi one? What is that one? Oh, you just found Cthulhu in general. Yeah. Yeah, that dark Yun, I've seen that being painted on YouTube. A guy was using a lot of glazes on how to paint that. It was really cool. The Father Dagoon, I painted that. Yeah, the Bonesvanians. Lou. Yeah, that's the chibi Cthulhu. Yeah, there's that big Cthulhu. That's not the one I was talking about, but that one's cool, and that is big. That is a big one. This one's like I think 3 times the amount size. It's a huge model. Yeah, it's terrible. I think it's like $150 or something. It's like this huge resin. I'll look it up and I'll post it in the Discord so you can see it. I'll have to look it up. I don't remember the name of it. I may or may not be going to the game store, that game store tomorrow. If I do, I'll look for it, and if it's there, I'll try to take a picture of it. But I'll definitely do a search of it over the weekend, and I'll post it in Discord so you can see it. But yeah, I think it was like $150 or $180. For that price, for that size, it's actually a really good price. It's not a Reaper model. It's I don't remember who did it. Yeah, it's huge. I want to say it's like well over a foot tall. And it's not a skinny model, it's bulky too. But that Reaper one that they showed with the wings, that one's a cool model too. Reaper models are really great, and the price you pay for them is just crazy. You can go nuts going through, and you know the majority of their models are roughly about $2 for a normal human size. So make sure we get the hair on this side. So I'm just dragging. I can drag my brush across, just so it, the side of my brush, so those raised areas catch the paint. I kind of want to do a mid-tone here. So I want to keep the purple relatively dark. So I'm just adding it into the dark purple. Yeah. But the quality is different. GW has a lot more detail and a lot more added stuff to it than some of the bones, the Reaper stuff. I do enjoy painting and collecting Games Workshop stuff. What's really nice is being a commission painter, I get to paint something like this, which I normally wouldn't. I wouldn't have picked this up. I may have picked it up just to paint for myself, but I get a wide variety of things to paint as a commission painter that I normally wouldn't have painted, because I wouldn't have picked it up myself. All right, so here I'm just using this brighter color and just going more towards the center of the hair strands where it's catching more light. Oh, McFarlane Toys? Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be doing some Games Workshop, like 40K stuff. Yeah. Yeah, his toys are insane. Those are some great looking toys. Yeah. Yeah, they're coming out with those to coincide with the new edition of 40K. It's great that they're doing unpainted ones. Because they did pop miniatures of them. And I thought that was kind of cool that they had the unpainted one that you could paint your own. Yeah, and the scale is huge. Those are going to be really cool. Jesus, camera is really not showing. It's really washing out the colors on this. I gotta check the. Adjust all the coloring and the white balancing on this. It's really throwing off these colors here. It's blending the colors together and they're not that much. Oh, is it? Okay. Well, as long as it's looking good for you. I'm viewing it through OBS at the moment. I don't have, where I'm streaming. And it does look. I also have Twitch open on the computer in another window to check it every once in a while. All right, so we're just adding a little bit more purple. And just getting smaller and smaller, just like a normal area when you're painting hair. You just paint the raised areas and work it as one lump sum and not the individual hairs. You can do those thin lines to show the hair strands to kind of break it up. But when you're highlighting, say right here, I'm just concentrating light purple right at that point. And then right here too. And just running my brush down, on the side just to catch those strands. So I'm not highlighting down further. I'm just hitting the raised areas that make it a little bit brighter. I want to keep it relatively a dark purple, but just the raised areas are getting the highlights. It's catching the light and making it a little bit lighter. Okay. I'm sorry about that. Catching some underneath here just to show that the hair is purple. All right. Now we're going to just take purple on its own. Just do a few thin lines here at near the forehead. And just catching the ends back here. Sorry about that. Okay. Add a little bit of the plum into that. That's the brighter purple I got. And we're just trying to hit some areas right here and up front. And to show some individual strands, but just the highlights here. I'm just running it down. At the end, at the strands in the back. These big flumes of hair are really fun to paint. All right. So bring that closer to the ends of the hair, and then up on top, because that ridge is what's catching the light. All right. So I'll zoom out here, show him off. He's getting so close to being done. I'm going to touch up and fix the loincloth here later, and finish up the bits of leather, and then I have the orb to do, and then the base. So he's literally almost done. Okay. But I will do that later. It's getting close to 5:30, so it's about time for me to head out and go have some dinner. Cor, are you back? I don't want to say goodbye to him if he's gone. I know he saw outside about doing a raid. Cor, let me know when you're back. While we're waiting for him, let's go ahead and see who is that. All right. That's weird. All right, that chat, that's what I want. Okay. Okay. That chat, that's what I want. Glorious Badger is streaming, so we'll go ahead and raid him. Glorious Badger is streaming, so we'll go ahead and raid him. Glorious Badger is streaming, so we'll go ahead and raid him. Glorious Badger is streaming, so we'll go ahead and raid him. Glorious Badger is streaming, so we'll go ahead and raid him. Glorious Badger is. All right, everyone. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me on Friday, getting some more work done. Let's go ahead and raid. All right, everyone. I want to thank you all Glorious over there, Mr. Badger. Getting some more work done. Let's go ahead. And I will see you guys next week. Have a good weekend. Talk to you soon.